I'll start it off, I guess.
I guess your house.
Yeah, yeah.
All good.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank y'all for coming. We want to have a press meeting after the Mardi Gras, which ended yesterday. As you know, the entirety of the Mardi Gras season went pretty smoothly, except the last part of last night. Once it got dark, we had a number of incidents that occurred that are pretty distressing because they affected public safety and the ability of our people to enjoy annual festivities. So what we've done is every year after each Mardi Gras, we get together and do basically a post-mortem. We look at everything to see what worked, what didn't work, and we make adjustments how best to protect not only the safety of the public, but also to enhance the experience for not only our residents, for people that may be coming into town. So I wanted to get together with our law enforcement to give you some briefings, because we had 3 shootings that occurred, and all of those occurred at the end after the parades had ended after dark. So one of the things we're definitely going to be looking at is the timing of our parades and the timing of these festivities, because from what I understand, once it got dark, it was like a switch flipped. Our first responders and our law enforcement were going from place to place trying to keep things under control. And at the same time, with the parades running at night, you have families with children out there. So we're going to get together and talk about that from a public safety standpoint, from a public works standpoint, because obviously our city workers, they clean up after the parades, and if it goes late into the night, they have to come back the next day and come to work. So there's a number of different things that we're looking at. But with that said, I want to let the sheriff and Chief Moss talk to you about the incidents that occurred that resulted in public safety concerns about our Mardi Gras festivities. But again, I want to reiterate, the entirety of the Mardi Gras season was well done, very well safe. Everybody had a good time. It was only yesterday, Fat Tuesday, right when it got dark, that the script flipped and everything just kind of started going haywire.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, before I go into any details, and there'll be just a few details, I want to commend all the men and women from the Lake Charles Police Department, Cockeys Parish Sheriff's Department, Acadian Ambulance Service, Public Works, OSEP, everyone that was involved in us having a relatively safe Mardi Gras. It was well done, well planned, and I commend all of them for their hard work over the last few days. Reference to the shootings that we dealt with, the first we'll talk about was at Pappy's. And again, just brief details. We were dispatched there at 10:31 p.m. in reference to a shooting. Upon arrival, the officers did discover one male that had received several gunshot wounds. That individual was treated and taken to a local hospital. Beyond that, it's still under investigation. I don't have any other further information. Later in the evening, in the 2000 block of Stanton Street, the officers were again dealing with a shooting call. I'll leave some of that to the sheriff, because I believe some of that was connected to some of the other calls, if I understood correctly from Chief Ondell. But that's also very much so still under investigation. Sure.
Thank you, Chief Moss. You know, this Mardi Gras event is a City of Lake Charles event, and the CPSO Sheriff's Office assists them strictly on the law enforcement capacity. Our role is to provide crowd control and security from 17th Street all the way up to the end of the parade at end of Ryan Street, Adventure Time. So last night at about 7 p.m., there was a reported shooting. This shooting was really concerning because there was thousands of people out there on that parade route. What made it even more concerning was it was almost directly across the street from our command center. And that shows you how much respect that these people show towards law enforcement, to have that right there across the street from where our command center was. And so we were very fortunate just to talk about what led up to the shooting. You know, those people are out there all day. They're having a great time and they're having fun, and that's okay too. And we want people to go out there and enjoy themselves and have fun. It's supposed to be a family fun event. But from the time that started up until the end of the parade, the sheriff's office recovered 8 firearms from individuals right there around Southgate Shopping Center. From as I said, we're from 17th Street all the way on up to the end of the parade. To have that many firearms confiscated from individuals is alarming to us in law enforcement. That many people are out there with firearms. Out of the 8 firearms that we recovered, 3 of them were reported stolen. Last night, we were fortunate enough to have air support. Our Air 1 was up after our shooting. They locked onto the person with the FLIR. We were able to follow that person through backyards. And with the response from our sheriff's office and Lake Charles Police and the marshal's office, we were able to apprehend this gentleman that was responsible. It was a 16-year-old. 16 years old in possession of a gun on the parade route, shooting at somebody with thousands of people out there enjoying themselves. He had no regard for public safety or anybody's public safety. And so we tried to recover the weapon last night. It was dark out there. We sent a number of officers out and to look for the weapon. We were unable to locate it last night. But we went back first thing this morning. We had assistance of ATF dog that is able to sniff out firearms, the gunpowder, and we were fortunate enough to recover the firearm this morning. And that firearm was one of the stolen firearms that was reported stolen from a local bar on Common Street. This tells you the magnitude of stolen weapons that we have out there. Not only that, but we got a guy walking around with a pistol in his front pocket with a 30-round clip sticking out of his pocket. Why would you bring that to a parade route unless you had ill intentions? And so this is one of the pictures that appeared on this person's social media page. So it tells you that, you know, they're not shy in any way about putting their business out there, what they're doing. And as I've said many times before, keep posting on social media. We see it too. So this is what we're dealing with. And unfortunately, you know, Mardi Gras is a time for a family event to go out there and enjoy it with friends and family. It's people like that that are really questioning what we're doing. I can tell you from a law enforcement standpoint, we start planning very early, and we plan for incidents like this, hoping that we never have to use it. But I can tell you, you can rest assured that your law enforcement in this area, we're going to do everything that we can to go out and make our community safe. And I can promise you that's not going to change. We're going to continue to do that. But we need to look at some of the ways that we're doing things. We need to change up some things, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But I can tell you public safety will always be our top priority, and we're going to do whatever we need to do to keep our community safe. And, you know, the 12 arrests that we made out there, that the sheriff's office made, we made a total of 12 arrests. The majority of those were at the Southgate shopping area. You know, we had said originally that that would be an alcohol-free zone for families. We felt pretty safe with our command center being there. We had over almost 200 police officers out there working that parade. We tie up a lot of resources. As I said last night, I want to give a shout out to those guys in our air unit. Had we not had the air support, I can't tell you we would have made that arrest last night. Those guys did a tremendous job, and all the law enforcement. I mean, I was really proud of the way that we conducted ourselves. I can tell you, just judging from talking to people at the sheriff's office, they saw a shift in the crowd from daylight to dark. It was night and day difference. And so I really feel like that's something that, you know, we need to look at. And Mayor, I'll let you address that part.
But first of all, I'm going to thank the sheriff and the Lake Charles Police Department and the Marshal's Office for securing our community during this time. Like I said, we go back and look after the parades to see what worked, what didn't work, where the hot spots are, what can be done. As the sheriff said, and the people that were in the command center saw, as soon as it got dark, it was like a switch flipped. All of a sudden, the crowd started getting chaotic. We had all these problems. I was out there seeing that we had parades, we had large gaps in the parades, you know, and people come out, they'll stage, they'll have tents out, they'll start cooking, they'll have drinks, and when there's a break in the parades, instead of people standing at the roads trying to catch beads and doing things, they're going back and doing whatever they need to do. The people that's out there that had the guns, I appreciate that y'all took those people off the street. Those are the people that we need to focus our resources on. But the biggest thing is that we found that it's coming out at night. So we're going to look at, and we're going to do our postmortem and come up with some analysis of what's going on. But we're going to get together with Mardi Gras, Southwest Louisiana, and make some proposals too. And when I say proposals, it doesn't mean that drives it. We make the decisions. But the first thing that we're going to look at is making sure that these parades wind down while it's still daylight, and that the people have a chance to disperse, so that if anybody's out there doing any type of isolated incidents, that we've protected the families. I would prefer, we did an analysis and saw that the latest Mardi Gras activities in Louisiana is in Lake Charles, the latest parade. And so we're going to look at that, because even in New Orleans, you know, they'll do Zulu in the morning and Rex immediately after that. And by the time it's noon, all of the focus has gone to the French Quarter, and we're going to start looking at that too, because we, like the sheriff and our officers said, we're stretched across the entirety of the parade route. And once it got dark, those resources are moving from one place to another, because things were just getting hectic out there. So we're going to address it from a timing standpoint. We're going to address it from a screening standpoint. Thank goodness we had eyes in the sky that was able to track this down, and a dog that could sniff out these weapons. But I'm going to also ask, and we're going to ask the public, if they see anything that's out of whack out there, that's anything that's not in place, a person walking around with a 30-round clip sticking out should be reported immediately, so that we can get those people taken care of, and let everyone know that not only is this a safe place, but that we're going to have no other place for this kind of activity. So with that, if you have any questions, please ask your questions.
You said that there were 12 arrests. Were they for weapons or alcohol?
I'm sorry?
You said that you made 12 arrests.
Yes.
Were they just for like having the weapons or alcohol?
Some was for having weapons. Some was for disorderly fighting.
Any alcohol arrests?
No, you know, at Mardi Gras, I mean, it's probably the one time of year that we tolerate a little bit more as far as the alcohol. So unless a person is just totally obnoxious and totally out of line, you know, we try to find a friend that they're there with to say, hey, get him out of here.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we're probably towards alcohol a little bit more tolerant at Mardi Gras than we would normally be at any other time of the year.
Now, we do have ambulances and everyone else staged out there, because, you know, the alcohol doesn't necessarily turn into any type of disruptive activity, but, you know, people have had too much, they pass out, and it becomes they're in a vulnerable situation. So we also have ambulances out there, paramedics, people that can treat people and make sure that they're not in an emergent situation from a public safety standpoint.
And, you know, for our shooting, it just turned out that it happened to be two juveniles, a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, which is very unfortunate.
Do we know if they like knew each other or had any like conflict?
I'm not sure of that.
You mentioned that the shooting happened, that one happened in close proximity to your command station. Does that give you any clues as to moving forward, what you can do, if anything, about that, if that would change?
Well, yeah,
anything?
we'll have to go back and reevaluate our planning and just look at everything. Everything is on the table. Once something like this happens, it lets us know that there are some vulnerabilities there. Not only did we have Air 1 up in the air, but we had drones up in the air, and it still happened. So, yeah, everything's on the table. We're going to reevaluate everything.
And the command center is strategically located in a place where we anticipate that we've seen other issues. So the fact that that happened there shows the scope of those type issues. That you have a police command center, a lot of officers out there, and still we had this kind of activity.
And the other thing is, part of our command center is not only is it visibility, but we want people, if they have any problems, to go to our command center and report it. I can tell you, we were fortunate enough to reunite 5 kids with their parents that just got totally separated. Hey, they're out there and they're partying, they're having fun, and sometimes they ain't always paying attention to their kids. And I know at the end of the parade route, we had a 5-year-old that was missing. We were able to reunite this 5-year-old with their parents. That's the purpose that we're there for. Like I said, I can't say enough about the partnership that we have with our area law enforcement. I mean, it just goes above and beyond what anybody can imagine our working relationship is. And it's for the best, because we're all there for one reason: to protect the public and make our public safe.
Yes, sir.
With 12 arrests, 8 firearms recovered, in a time like this, with large gatherings, what do you say to those who might be worried about, large gatherings in the future?
Well, I mean, there's always that possibility that can happen. You just never know what people are capable of. I mean, just this weekend on the news, I saw somewhere up north where in the middle of a hockey game, they had 2 people that were killed and the bad guy shot himself. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad people out there that are doing bad things. We can't prevent every crime, but I can tell you, we plan and we plan and we plan, and we do everything we can to keep our public safe. It's a partnership with the public. See something, say something. We're going to continue to work hard and refine our plan and do what we can to make it safe. And I can promise you, we're going to continue to work at it. It's just important. It's important for the public to know that it is a partnership. And if you can work with us and you can help us keep our community safe, we can have a safe community if we both work together.
And I think the distressing part about this situation is, with adults with firearms, that's one thing. But when you have juveniles with firearms and shooting in the crowds, I mean, that's a whole different level. So we're gonna, like I said, those are the things that we're gonna look at and address, because we have to keep the public safe. We don't want people to come out in fear, and we definitely don't want anybody with bad intentions to stop our people from enjoying these types of festivities. Like I said, for the entire Mardi Gras season went well, no problems. It's just this particular night, last night, once it got dark, the switch flipped. And was it alcohol? Was it beef? Was it people being too long in the same place? We don't know, but we're going to drill down on that, and we're going to start planning to get around that. But also, I think the biggest component is going to be timing. When do we want to wind down Mardi Gras in Southwest Louisiana? We can't be the last place standing and then having these kind of incidents. And I think that's going to go a long ways in securing our public and these type of events.
Mr. Mayor, can I just, real quick, just to dovetail off what the sheriff said, that it's an absolute partnership between our law enforcement agencies and the city. Our two incidents that occurred, one at Pappy's and one on Tulip Street, both open investigations. So if anybody in the public was at Pappy's last night or has information about that, or in reference to the Tulip Street situation, please contact the Lake Charles Police Department, 491-1311. Ask for our investigations bureau. They'll get you connected. We work very well with our citizens, and it's absolutely a partnership to get things done. So we would love if somebody out there has additional information, please reach out to us. Yes, sir.
For the shooting on Tulip Street on Stanton.
And I think I said Stanton earlier. It was Tulip Street. That was a totally separate situation. I apologize.
Gotcha. So for the shooting on Tulip, do we have an exact time for when that may have occurred?
No, there may be, but I don't have that for you.
Any injuries?
That I don't have for you either.
And no arrests?
That I don't have for you
Okay.
either.
Well, I want to make it perfectly clear, though. We had, what did we have on Friday night? The Merchants Parade? We had the Merchants Parade, we had the Kids Parade, we had the Jeep Parade. We didn't have any issues. Zero. Zero issues. And those were night parades. But they weren't out there all day. They were out there for a short duration parade, and they dispersed. So I don't want people to think, hey, this was all of Mardi Gras. This was all Fat Tuesday, is where the problem was.
Of those 12 arrests, how many were juvenile?
I'm not sure. I can check on that for you, Caleb, and get back to you. I just know we had 12 arrests.
And were there any deaths from the shootings that we're aware of?
No.
Okay.
In speaking on community outreach, has that been challenging? How has that been going in trying to get involved in the community to feel comfortable coming forward when they have concerns?
No, we've always had very positive community outreach. We've worked very well with our public. We try to go above and beyond to do what we need to do to keep our public safe. And I feel like we have support and the trust of our public. And that's why it's always important for us to always do the right thing and to work hard to keep that trust, because I can tell you, we wouldn't be able to solve crime if it were not for the public coming forward and helping us. And we've been so fortunate there.
For the shooting at Pappy's, was that inside the establishment or was it outside?
I believe it was at the doorway, if I'm not mistaken.
And was it like an ongoing dispute between two people?
All that's still under investigation. Got to remember it just happened 10
Okay.
o'clock last night,
Okay.
so 10:30. So we're still trying to sort things out ourselves.
Okay.
Just to again dovetail off, the sheriff set me up for stuff that reminded me to say things reference to how we relate with the community and how the community relates with us. I think a lot of times folks see things on social media, other places, and thinks that's how it is here and that's how law enforcement officers are looked at in this city. And we have a phenomenal relationship with our citizens here. We do our best to maintain that, because it's a partnership between not only us, but us, the fire department, the marshal's office, and the citizens of the city, because we can't get anything done without them. It's very difficult to.
And I can tell you, we called last night after our shooting to see if that ATF dog could come in and be here first thing this morning. They traveled from Baton Rouge. The guy, the handler, brought his dog in, and I'm telling you, it didn't take him very long to find that weapon. And we've had very good luck with K9 Ronnie is his name. He has found like 3 weapons for us that were involved in homicides, and it's an amazing thing. But that's why you have those partnerships. That's where they come into play. And we made one phone call and say, "Hey, we need you. Can you come?" And the guy was here the next day. And in our business, you have to have that.
Just to let you know, these things these kind of things that are happening, we're going to adjust as it goes, because our Mardi Gras celebration is actually growing. According to our public works directors, we picked up a total of 58 tons of debris from Mardi Gras. That's how you normally tell how much participation you've had. And that's double from last year, because last year the number was 27, almost 28 tons. So we're continuing to grow, but we're also going to minimize these problems, not just per capita, but we try to eliminate them completely. And I do want to say to anybody out there that's thinking about doing these types of things, as you can see, we've got a very, very professional, well-trained, well-coordinated law enforcement mechanism that's going to protect the safety of this public. And we're not going to tolerate this, not in our city, not in our parish, not anywhere. So to those that think that they can come in and do this kind of thing, we're going to take care of it. And to those that see these types of things to the public, please feel free. You don't have to get engaged or involved, but if you see something that looks out of place, please come and tell the law enforcement that's their job. They're going to take care of that. We're going to take care of that if somebody's not properly, they're drinking too much or whatever else, and you think that there's some issues. Please tell us. The only way we can protect the public is if the public interacts and be the eyes and ears for us, because we're going to rely upon you to do so too. If you saw at the hockey game that you talked about, a good bystander just tackled this guy, didn't wait. Everybody else ran. This person took this person down, and I think we have those kind of resources here too. But like I said, if you measure the success or the participation of an event based upon how much garbage has been collected, this year's Mardi Gras was larger. At least the cruise parade was larger than last year because we doubled the amount of garbage that we were able to pick up. So these are things that we're growing with, but we're going to adjust and we're going to protect the public. But we're also going to allow people to have a good celebration with their families.
Was that trash just coming from cruise parades, or?
And I think that's the total Mardi Gras.
Okay, I just wanted to double check that. And one more thing, on the internet, people were saying that there were 4 shootings. It was just the 3, correct?
They're saying what?
There were 4 shootings. Was it just 3?
At Mardi Gras?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And just to dovetail, just got confirmation, there were no injuries on the 2 street shooting.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you know, people say all the time, man, Lake Charles is dangerous. Lake Charles is dangerous. What are y'all doing? I can tell you this. As long as we continue to make arrests and put people in jail, to me, that's a win. When something happens and we don't know who did it and we can't figure out who did it and we're having trouble arresting people and putting people in jail, that's when I'm going to get worried. But I can tell you, Lake Charles is a safe city. We hold people accountable. Yes, there are people out there doing bad things, but I can promise you, we're going to use every resource we got to arrest you and put you in jail.
Absolutely.
That's it.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Good job.
Good job.